Good day, students. Welcome to School on Air again. Today I'll be taking us through chapter 7 of the recommended text for the UTME titled Sweet 16. And this chapter 7 is also titled Beauty. And it's a follow-up of the previous chapter, chapter 6, and it is the last part of the story. And in this chapter, we see Aliyah ruminating about the story that the father just narrated, the story of the white slaver and the black man, and how the black man demonstrated a positive attitude and helped the white slaver despite the injustice and the ill treatment that the white slaver meted out on him. So, as Aliyah was thinking about this, the father entered the room and they continued their discussion. You know, Aliyah was wondering why her father had just narrated the story. And the father said he did so as to teach Aliyah that it is possible to be positive to others in the face of difficulties or negative things that they have done to us. And you know, the story continued as Aliyah opened up to her father about an incident that happened in one of her classes while she was in school. She told the father of the activities of one of the teacher and the students talking about her body shape and her size. And this really baffles Mr. Bello, and he also reacts in such a way to show his dissatisfaction about the situation. And the incident is actually like a play on word, you know. Play on word is when a particular word is used in another context. And the word that is played on in the story is fat, you know. Aliyah says that the teacher one time called her Fatima. You know, the word fat in Fatima is used by the teacher as a derogatory term referring to her body shape or size. And, you know, Mr. Bello referred to this as body shaming. Or, well, not Mr. Bello, but if you look at a dictionary, that is what is referred to as body shaming. When you make derogatory comment about people's body and their shape or size, that is body shaming. So that is the cross of the discussion of Mr. Bello and Aliyah in this chapter. You know, and Mr. Bello teaches Aliyah some pertinent lessons regarding how to relate with people and how to view people's comments about her. And one of the lessons that Mr. Bello teaches in this chapter is to let Aliyah see that nobody can hurt her without her permission. And that was actually a quote from Gandhi. You know, Gandhi is one of the philosophers or an activist that is mentioned in this story. You know, in previous chapters, we have seen Mr. Bello referring to Gandhi. In this chapter also, he's using a quote of Gandhi that nobody can hurt you without your permission, to teach Aliyah the truth of existence. And another reference is to Muhammad Ali. And Aliyah actually refers to this in the letter that the father wrote to her, that Muhammad Ali told his own daughter that she is a queen. You know, that's just the paraphrase of that expression, that she should be expected to be treated with respect and royalty from everybody. So Mr. Bello is using that also to encourage Aliyah, and eventually Mr. Bello is able to calm her down and make her see the beauty in her personality, the beauty in her size, in her shape, in her person. And of course, Aliyah later laughs it off and believes strongly in the fact that she's beautiful, even the way she is. Of course, she asked the father a question that why is it that most of the models that we have, they are slim and, tall? And Mr. Bello is made it clear to Aliyah that people see beauty differently. And beauty, just as a saying goes, lies in the eyes of the beholder. Of course, that's one of the lessons that Mr. Bello is trying to teach Aliyah in this last chapter. And that Aliyah is beautiful, and she should see herself as a beautiful individual, and she should be comfortable in who she is. And that is the major lesson there. And of course, to round off the chapter, Mr. Bello also tells a story of a hunter that has gone to hunt for the game, and despite all his efforts and traveling farther into the forest, the man is unable or was unable to get something. And in his journey, he eventually got to a place like a palace where everything is so beautiful, and of course a table was set for him, and he was attended to by some beautiful damsels, and this man was fed, and actually they packed some things for him so that he could take home. And one of the inscriptions that the man saw is that food is ready, come in, eat as much as you can, drink as much as you can, and then you are free. You are not going to pay anything. Oh, the man was very shocked about the inscription, and confirmed so from the people that attended to him. And eventually, after eating and stocking his bags with a lot of food and drinks, the man was about leaving when he had a voice that he would need to pay so that his own children that are coming can have access to free food like she is having now, because the grandfather had paid for him. The man was surprised and said, wow, but I thought this is free based on your inscription. And he said, yes, it is free because somebody paid for you. And you must pay for other people so that you can have the benefit of getting this sumptuous meal that you yourself have gotten. And the man was surprised. And the lesson that Mr. Bello is trying to bring out of that in closing the story is to tell Aliyah that Mr. Bello, as the father, has done his own part in teaching Aliyah, in bringing her up, in writing the letter, telling different stories, making life comfortable for her generally, and that Aliyah also owes it as a duty to the children or the generation that is coming after her, and she should transfer the lessons and everything that the father has done for her. She should transfer it to her own children, and that way the trend will continue. Our own children will transfer it to their own children, and generations to come, they will continue the transference, and the society will be better for it. In rounding off this chapter, I'm going to take a quick recap of some events that we have in the chapter. First, we see Mr. Bello entering Aliyah's room, and they also discuss about the story, and Mr. Bello reveals to Aliyah the reason for the story. Then we also see that there is an emphasis on the fact that all religions should influence the world positively. Then Aliyah also shares the story of how a teacher and classmates molested her in the class, and the father felt so bad about the situation and gives Aliyah a lesson from the words of Gandhi that nobody can hurt her without her permission. Then Mr. Bello also advises Aliyah to have confidence in herself and accept who she is. Then we also see Mr. Bello talking about who a truly beautiful person is, as one who is beautiful in character and comportment. And he also mentioned the issue of the story of Muhammad Ali, telling his own daughter to always expect to be treated like a queen. Then we also see that Aliyah aspires to be school head girl, and the position she thinks will help her to help others. Then she thinks of buying a nebulizer for the students that are asthmatic. Then we see Mr. Bello telling the story of a hunter who spent days in the forest and still got no game. Then he later got succored by a signpost that directed him to a place where she could eat enough and drink and also take home. Then Mr. Bello uses that story to make Aliyah see that what she has done for her as a father, Aliyah should be ready to do that for her own children. And with that, we come to the end of the chapter 7, and in actually the last phase of the book. And I'm very sure you still remember the previous episodes and what transpires in each of the chapter. Please take note of those things and make sure you practice the questions that we have after the episodes. Thank you.